Welcome back to another episode of the Hunt Fish Live podcast. This week it is all about ice fishing. This past weekend, my wife and I participated in an ice fishing tournament up north and had a blast. We also participated in a kids fishing day put on by one of our favorite lure companies. Let's check it out. We got up early and headed out. We made our way north to Cadillac for the fishing tournament, and we got there just before 8 o'clock, signed in, got some bait, and hit the water. The derby started at 8, and we were on the ice by probably 8:20 or so in our first spot. So this year we fished an area of the lake that had everything. It had a offshore point, inshore point, steep drop off to a flat, a shallow drop off to a flat, and a weed line. So we started off on the tip of the point, fishing for perch, fishing for walleye. Didn't have much luck as far as bigger fish go. We caught a bunch of small perch, but that was about it. We moved, let's see, this year, the spot that we were in was different than the normal spots that we go to when we fish up there. We typically, for tournament day or derby day, bounce around a lot. We fish till we get cold or get bored, and then get in the truck and move spots, warm up a little bit, regroup, and hit the new spots with a fresh outlook. And this year was totally different. Where we were had everything. We didn't have to leave. There was a bathroom close by that we could use. It was really the perfect spot. Anyone that knows me knows that the bathroom is very important. Not in a bad way, but I just like to have one nearby. Especially while ice fishing. Ice fishing close to houses, close to town, everything like that. It's hard to go to the bathroom, and I like to eat and drink while I'm out on the water. Not drink alcohol, of course. Usually stick to water, or pop, or energy drink or something. But anyway, couple hours went by and we needed to move. So we moved along the drop off to a inshore point that looked like it was going to hold fish. We set up on the lower end of it in probably 16 to 18 foot of water, and we were marking fish right away. It was pretty awesome. My wife caught a couple small ones right away, and I knew it was a spot that we wanted to be in. She ended up catching a probably 8 or 9 incher. Probably closer to 7. But yeah, so she kept it, not knowing what else we were going to catch. For some reason, I wasn't getting much perch action on anything that I was putting down there. So I started walleye fishing. I've never really had much luck with jigging spoons and jigging wraps and stuff like that. So I thought, why not? Now's the perfect time. I had the perfect chance. I was in great water for walleyes, and so I dropped down the new Shame Shaker from Lake Effect Lures, not sponsored. A great bait, 2.5 inches long. I think they're 1/2 ounce jigging spoons. Tipped with a minnow head and went to town. I figured out what these fish were wanting, and I ended up catching a small perch right off the bat, which is crazy, but it bit it, and I was excited. I told my wife it was probably the most proud fish that I've ever, or the proudest I've ever been to catch a fish, even though it was small. It was pretty cool to know what I was doing was working, and it gave me a huge boost of confidence for the rest of the day. I played around with the jig and spoons for a while, switched up colors, tried different tactics. I had a couple really big hits. I think they were walleye. They weren't acting like the perch were on my Vexlar. So, yeah, it was a ton of fun. I decided to change up and try to target those perch that were potentially underneath me or in different holes, because we were bopping around a little bit, and just to try to figure out a bite. We don't really use a shanty for any type of fishing, unless we know that we're going to be that we're going to be ice fishing stationary, and we're not going to have to move. But we like hole hopping. We are bucket sitters and ice kneelers for sure. That's just how I've always done it. I've never really been too keen on shanties. We have shanties. We have nice shanties, but there's no time for that. So yeah, we're bopping around, moving around, fishing the inside of this drop off, the outside of the drop off, just looking for a weed line. We found a weed line. We found what we thought were walleye. So my wife ended up using a shame shaker as well. She didn't have the touch yet. She was getting it, but I had a couple strikes and a couple follows on my Vexlar, and it just skyrocketed my confidence for those baits. So we ended up not having anything to weigh in. We knew what was gonna win, and we did not have it. She did not have the winning perch in her bucket. So 3 o'clock came, we packed up, headed to weigh in. Weigh in is at 3:30, ends at 3:30. They tally everything up, give away some awesome prizes for winning each species of fish. Like I said before, bluegill, crappie, perch, walleye, and pike. Everyone got an awesome hub shanty this year, which is cool. After they give that away, they do 50-50s, and they give away door prize to pretty much everybody that signed up for the tournament, which is pretty awesome. I'm not quite sure who sponsors the event up there, but if you have time, if you are free next year during Snowfest in Cadillac, you should head up and take advantage. Hit the ice with everybody. It's a ton of fun. You won't regret it. You might not catch a lot of fish or big ones, but it's a blast. I highly, highly suggest it. We then took off Sunday afternoon and headed out to Kids and Family Fishing Day put on by Lake Effect Lures right here in Grand Rapids. They provided bait, rods, jigs, plastics, snacks, hot chocolate, water, shanties, holes, everything you needed to catch a fish through the ice and go ice fishing. A lot of these people out there did not have equipment, and they had never ice fished before. Matt and the guys set them up for success and made a very fun afternoon out of it. We actually brought some of our friends along, and that had never fished before, never ice fished before, and they had a blast too. They used our gear, of course, but there wasn't much. we got there probably a half hour after it started, and there wasn't much gear left from Lake Effect to borrow. So the kids used our stuff, and my wife put them on fish. They ended up catching 16 really nice bluegill. We took them home and flayed them up, and they will be enjoying those this weekend, hopefully. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I really hope they do it again next year, or maybe twice next year. I don't know, But it was super successful. It was really cool to see people out on the water, out on the ice that have never done it before or have very little experience doing any ice fishing, and seeing them catching fish. And we saw a few bass caught, a couple pike caught, a bunch of bluegill. It was a great afternoon. It was perfect weather too. It was 32 degrees, 30 degrees, and it was kind of foggy, but no wind, no rain, no snow. It was just the perfect afternoon on the ice. The event went for a few hours, 3 hours or so. We stayed for pretty much the whole time, and had a blast. We are definitely looking forward to doing it next year. I told Matt when we were leaving that he has to do this again. It was a lot of fun. Oakland, our daughter had a blast, and she cannot wait to go fishing with Mr. Matt again. This next week and weekend are going to be filled with ice fishing. The ice is perfect around here. We got probably, I don't know, anywhere between 8 and 10 inches of solid black ice on the lakes right now. Weather's looking good. Temperature's looking good. I'm thinking we're going to have ice well into March. So that is exciting. We haven't had a long ice season in quite some time. Definitely didn't have a long ice season last year. I think we fished one weekend. We did fish one weekend, 2 outings. So yeah, I'm hoping to get out after some walleyes this weekend. Going to the lake that we fished from shore and catch them with the inner circle, as I mentioned a few podcasts ago. I think I'm going to fish the same areas that we cast to. They seem to hold walleye, big walleye, and pike as well. So I'll probably put up some tip-ups for pike, jig for walleye, get that jig and spoon out again. Got a lot of confidence coming from the Derby up in Cadillac as far as jigging spoon usage and all that stuff. So we will see what happens. Not sure if I'll be alone or if the fam will be with me, which we'll figure that out tomorrow or whenever I get out there. Yeah, let me know in the comments, what's your go-to method for catching walleye through the ice? Are you a tip-up guy? Are you a dead sticker? Do you use a jig? Do you use a jig and spoon or a jig and wrap? Let me know. Well, that's it for this episode. Thank you for listening. I truly appreciate it. Got a lot of good things coming up. Turkey season coming up. The rest of ice fishing season coming up. Spring beluga coming up. I got some other ideas for some episodes as well. So we will see how the next week goes. Like I said, ice fishing is on deck. So more stories about that and those adventures in the weeks to come. Well, thanks again for listening, everybody. After you leave that comment, don't forget to click that subscribe button. Well, thanks again for listening, everybody. This is the Hunt Fish Live podcast. Tune in next week. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll catch you later. Thanks again.